And journey out. Nothing but you and the wilderness for miles. Just remember, you're the boss. Steel MS-271 Farm Boss, built for the toughest jobs. Journey onward.
State Bank and Trust has been invested in Winfield and Marion County for more than a century, and today we remain deeply committed to meeting the needs of local families and businesses with excellent financial products and friendly down-home service.
But more than that, we're dedicated to supporting the growth, success, and well-being of our community as a whole. Because when it comes right down to it, there's nothing more important than community.
And just like our outstanding city officials, police, and fire departments, you can count on State Bank and Trust to help make Winfield and Marion County a great place to live for everyone who calls this area home.
Pretty good. Probably we're trying to get some.
Heavenly Father, we come today to ask your guidance, wisdom, and support in this meeting. Help us in today's meaningful discussion, allow us to grow closer as a group and nurture the bonds of the community. In your name, amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to welcome everybody to the February 1st Winfield City Council meeting 2022. First item on the agenda is approval of council minutes from the January 20th, 2022 meeting. Anybody don't have a question or comment how the minutes have been written, I need to ask for a motion to accept those minutes. Good. Gene made a motion, second. Ed, all in favor? The next item on the agenda is award bid to community center rehab. We had two different bids on that project. It put out four different contractors, and we've got two of them to place a bid on. Heath Reed handled that for us. Reed Engineering handled the bid process for us. Bid received for the above reference project on January 28, 2022 at 2 p.m. The low bid submitted was received from Ballard Builders in the amount of $65,276. All bids were reviewed and found to be in accordance with the plans and specifications. We hereby recommend that the contract be awarded to Ballard Builders for this project in the amount of $65,276. The project contract will have a completion date of 45 calendar days pending receipt of all material. That's a recommendation from the engineering company, and based on their recommendations, my recommendation to the council to accept that bid and ask for a motion to accept the Ballard Builders bid on the community center sewer project.
What's the timeline for this
Start date?
Start date of this
week. Got to start this week. We got 45 days to finish.
My question.
Need a motion to accept. Did everybody get a copy of this? Yeah. Can you see the difference? That's the only two that bid it, and then the other two didn't bid it, so it really kind of, you know, fortunate thing to maybe get somebody here in local to bid it, get started on it and get it done. Did you make a motion, James? Second. Keith, all in favor? Is that good enough, Wes? I'm in Todd, I need to do it in this form right here. That is. Oh, okay. That's the next item. All right, next item on the agenda is old business. I've got one or two old business issues. I'll start with James. James, if you got any old business? No. You good? Ed, you got any from your last two meetings?
Just wondering about the projects we agreed to move forward on last meeting. I see one here is going to begin soon. What about the update on the rest of it?
Let me see where we're at. What they got in those minutes. On one of the projects, the main HVAC, I want to think Tammy or have you talked to Luke, Mike? On this project? Luke, last time I talked to Luke, he had gave me, they have put it out. My understanding, they've done the same thing that Reed Engineers done. Luke Porter, their crew has put these HVAC units out for a bid based on that bid package that we have put together for it. I gave him the go-ahead to move forward after the last meeting to put it out for bid, so I feel like it'll be ready at the next council meeting. On the Smith Road and the water booster station on Ember Drive, Luke had set up to meet with the water department, which I have talked to James and Todd about this. The water department's actually trying to receive a grant themselves as well on that project, on those projects. So we're still in lingo of actually how that's going to work. So
I make the recommendation that we grant the money that we set aside for them, that their engineer handle, and it's finished this later.
That's what we're going to do with James. Is the water department's got their own engineering firm, and we're going to work with them to try to make that. But that's where we're at on the water.
And Mayor, and not only that, we'll have to get this approved from ADM and all that stuff. It's not just when you start to work; they have to approve everything before we can.
There's additional money. I started running the bill that just passed of more money coming in for that type of work that passed 18.
We've asked for quite a bit of it.
There was a bill passed 18th and signed on that too.
Rod's already, we're asking for sewer and water. Quite a bit.
That was a state bill.
Each one of them.
Part of their money.
But we do appreciate what y'all done for us.
Yeah.
And we want to serve the community. And
we got to get sewer and water maybe to some different areas to try to create more areas for housing. We need more housing.
Well, now that's the reason that we applied for this sewer grant. We've got to reline a bunch of our lines, and that's what it'll go for. And then once we get it relined, we can start extending. Right now, we're at the steady still. But as soon as we get that done, if we get that money, and Rod says it looks like we got a pretty good chance of getting it.
It looks positive all the way around for any kind of water sewer project looks, if it's anywhere in line, it looks like it's gonna be funded by, what I can tell.
I don't know if if you know it or not. I don't know if it's at that meeting, but now we had to reline some ourselves. What's the name of that? Joseph Webster, in front of his house, we had to line that to actually fall in there.
For that.
So, we had to reline that ourselves, and it's expensive, but that's really the only way to do it.
Yeah.
You don't tear anything up, just go in there and they reline it, and
Yeah.
you're through with it.
Yeah, I'm saying that project, I knew that didn't need to be done for a while, so that took care of everything there in front of Randy Brown's place too. I guess we didn't go that far back.
It didn't go that far up, but it just went up to the edge of where the property Joseph owns.
Yeah, because you still got to issue that way still on up toward Hilltop.
But now that's in this grant. We understand wrong.
All right, and then on the library, we hadn't really got the particular company we issued this grant. We $30,000 toward that project. Of course, you know we've done the HVAC work at the library. Regina's not here to bring me up to speed where she is on the. I think she's had. I got a text from her earlier about some lighting. They've had some guys from the park, I think, up there working on the lighting and different things. But before we go forward, see exactly what all they've got to have done in that $30,000. The guys from the park have been helping them this week on some different things. We've kind of we've had some, since the storm come through, we've had several different. Well, I call it, which on the card says investigators from Montgomery, State of Alabama, electrical side of GC licensed electrical investigators, and then we had the general contractors, the investigator side come in. As you all know, we've lost a licensed electrician that we've always used here, passed away. That's why we've been on a little bit of a standstill, sort of, on moving forward with getting all of our lighting and stuff done because of a licensed electrician too. I feel like at this point that needs to be not only licensed by the city, which Todd can probably help with that a little bit, but we need to have a general contractor's electrician license, considering that it is public, a public entity that we're working with. It's not a residential or a private company, a private individual company or whatever, but it's a public municipality. I feel like that we need a licensed electrician.
Find somebody to move to Winfield.
Yeah, constantly working on it. And then we've got to have more houses. We run out of places to put them. The CAC, or the employee premium pay, we signed checks on that today for the general fund. Moving forward with that, that's already in place, done moving that, and then on the CAC building, that's going to be included with that top HVAC system on the bids. That kind of brings that up to speed. But we're trying to expedite all that. For us, a streetlights project out here. Then the insurance company, which Mike, Angie could probably help explain that a little bit too. We've put the engineer to get in contact with Shoals Electric. It's because that's who did the project, and then Stone Engineering got involved, I think maybe through the insurance company somehow or another, and I don't know. Have you got some paperwork up here on it?
Angie, if there's been any conversation with insurance, she's the point of contact on that.
Oh, okay.
So the adjuster reached out to Stone Electric. Luke had reached out to Shoals Electric.
So that's who I advised him to, because that's who did the project.
And the distributor that provides for both of the electric companies notified Luke that you know, he had already gave the quote to Stone or Amic. And I sent an email to them, and they said that the consulting group hired by Amic would oversee the project. So, I don't think Luke will be overseeing the red light.
Okay, so the insurance, pretty much in the insurance is trying to take care of that project. As far as our buildings, I think all of our buildings, as far as the roofs, they're moving forward with it. We can replace the wall on the, and raise the roof back and fix the roof on the antique mall building. We've got the roof almost completed, I think, it may be completed on the museum. And they're still in, still in the negotiating, we'll not do a whole complete roof replace on the pastime. And we've done patched it, and I think we're back to the point where they're gonna replace it now. It's just trying to get everything settled with the insurance company.
So he was here again today, the consultant, one of the consultants, and he had talked to Dawn about some of their property. But hopefully next week they'll give us the final. They're trying to get, I think, 3 cost estimates on each location. So hopefully next week we'll get some roof work done.
Ed, you got anything else? Team?
Well, you answered my question about the library, but someone had brought it to my attention, talking up some street signs, to see if we could get street signs put up in the housing authority over there, because none of those streets over there have signs. I think they may have at one time, but they don't now.
Is that those streets in there that we own? Is that we own those streets?
The city street. Yes, sir.
City Street.
Because I know a lot of time on like 911 calls, the fire department usually gets there first, and they know the streets pretty well, and that's usually what they look for when they're going to buy houses. But sometimes it's.
I didn't realize it was even named it.
Yeah, they are. They have different names. It was brought to my attention by someone that works over there.
Jeannie, you don't like those signs, man?
Yes, sir.
Oh,
I think there is 2 of those streets.
Mary, there's 2 computers in this back office back here. She's needing a new computer. Unless those things are just absolutely blown up, I'll be glad to take one of them and pull the hard drive out and leave it here and put a new hard drive in it and put everything that Jeannie needs on it to run that cutting machine I gave her. I mean, the hard drive is going to run about $50, and the operating system is going to be $12. So about $62.
And if we keep it, we don't have to put it out for, we don't have to declare it surplus to move it to another department. Just move it.
But I'll get a larger hard drive than we got, solid state one. I mean, it'd be about $60.
I don't know since that signs, I guess we'll take action on that, wouldn't on the agenda, wouldn't it? It's really old business for maybe getting the streets named. I think it's really.
No, they already have names. No, they already have names. We just need street signs.
Yeah, that's sign being put up. I don't think it should be.
They said that there used to be signs over there.
I don't think that. I mean, I wasn't aware that there wasn't. I wasn't aware they had different names because I never seen it. But, I mean, I don't think we really have to. I think we just move forward because they need to be named. signs rather than putting it.
If you'll just forward me the list, I'll be glad to make them.
The garbage truck, we got, Mike, you gave it, or no, you didn't give it that.
I got it right here if you need it, Mayor.
Sir?
I got
Yeah,
it.
Mike's got we put the garbage truck on bid on Gov Deals. We set a reserve on the truck. Our reserve is $20,000. I feel like that this truck is 2007 Sterling, and based on what we've paid for them and seeing what they bring before we set the reserve on it, I feel like that we're well in line at a $20,000 reserve. I feel like the $18,000 is not enough. That was the highest bid on Gov Deals. I feel like we need to run it in the paper for a week between now and the next council meeting. I think that we can get a higher bid by refusing this bid and run it in the local paper. I strongly believe we can get what we was asking for if we run it in the paper, because we just didn't get noticed on Gov Deals. So that's my recommendation. I'd like to ask the council to allow me to run it in the paper. I mean, we'd still, if it didn't work out, we'd still go back to that. We would just second, all in favor of running that in the paper. Can you handle that paper guy for me? Yeah. See if we can talk how good it is and talk it up real good. So
Front page news, surplus garbage.
Let me see what else. I think that, where is that, something else? We haven't done anything.
That's just from the last meeting. That's just a couple of those minutes.
We didn't send it around.
Yeah, you're not on that.
I think we need to recognize somebody before we get out and meet or whatever. It's not actually business or whatever, but Gina Bryant has received a I guess the right word for it. Give me the right word, Chris.
She has been named Executive Secretary for the ARPA State Board. That's probably the highest position that anybody in our park has ever held. I know Mike was tied into it at one time. Lower than what that position is, but I think it's a big honor for Gina, and she does a great job at our park. She wears a lot of hats, and it's an honor for her to serve in that position, and it's an honor for the city of Winfield.
I'd like for us to recognize her. Has anybody got the crown? I appreciate what you do down there, Gina. I want to thank you for representing the city of Winfield in that position and receiving that position in the state. It says a lot about our city and our park and the people that run the different areas in the city and the park. And I think I personally know that you do a good job. A lot less headaches for me to take someone that I don't have to take, and I appreciate that, but we appreciate what you do. Give you a hand for getting that position. It just brought to my attention tonight, so all I can do is say thank you for what you do. And I think you got a couple of board members in here sitting there with you like bodyguards, looks like. We got a lot of, I think we got still got a bright future for our parks moving forward. There's a lot of things that we want to see happen. And good people in it. I'm trying to think if there's any other old business that I have. I haven't promised any department head that bring something up in old business have on that. Gina, I think, I had talked to, what's, how do y'all want me to handle that with the library for moving forward with the different things that we need, the odd and stuff that we need done in the library? The problem with the squirrels, maybe getting the roof of it.
Well, that fascia out there,
Sir?
the fascia part, and the lights run up on the head. I went over there and looked at it months ago, and there's gaps in there. So there's some wood that's, it's not hard work, it's just little stuff that should have been taken care of in 20 years.
That's what I was
taken care of.
We have used people down here at the past time. They use Pridmore, they use James Mike a good bit, and then we use,
I thought about Pridmore this morning when I came by and saw him working on one of these buildings.
that's what I don't know if it's okay, if y'all, okay me to get somebody to go take care of these.
I mean, it's not gonna be that, I don't know what all kind of, we got in this $30,000, but that part right there is not anywhere near 10% of that, I think.
No,
I think what we're talking about is more expensive, is carpeting and stuff going on.
It is.
So you're looking at probably $18,000 to $20,000 in carpeting.
Oh,
So
that
part
one
right
thing,
there.
I don't have nobody here with part.
Actually, that needs to be done regardless. I'd recommend we get Pridmore and go ahead and get it done.
And if we had talked about the exhaust system at the fire department, I don't know that we took any actions to do anything.
I believe we also said something that he was applying for a grant for part of that money, because they were getting tax money from town.
I'll get with Alan and see where he's at.
I think that's, was his last time.
Okay, I'll reach out to, there's 2 or 3 different ones that we've used, and, Mike, I reckon, for him to, since she's not here, for him to satisfy Mary must be pretty good. But I think they really like the work that he does for them, and it's kind of odd. It's hard to find a contractor that can do odd and end small.
While we're fixing some of these buildings, I'd like to have the front of this building clean.
I wish you put the clear glass back in about front, I guess.
Yeah, but you know where I'm talking about. I mean, it's terrible. Wouldn't hurt to landscape the front end, front view.
Well, if nobody else has got nothing, only one of the requirements, I think, if we leave the meeting early, is they have to attend the basketball game, home basketball game tonight against Hamilton. I think everybody's got to show that they went to that if they leave here early. But if nobody else got nothing, I need to ask for a motion to pay the bills. Second. All in favor? Ed, you all okay with paying the bills?
Yes, sir.
I'm trying to
He heard it, he's all right with it.
next item on the agenda is to adjourn. I need to ask for a motion to adjourn. Second.
All this talk to my night.
Not tonight. I'll talk about it.
I heard the last one.
You say you second, that's your second?
I didn't go.
Any second, all in favor?
When you gear up and journey out, nothing but you and the wilderness for miles. Just remember, you're the boss. Steel MS-271 Farm Boss, built for the toughest jobs. Journey onward.
State Bank and Trust has been invested in Winfield and Marion County for more than a century, and today we remain deeply committed to meeting the needs of local families and businesses with excellent financial products and friendly down-home service.
But more than that, we're dedicated to supporting the growth, success, and well-being of our community as a whole. Because when it comes right down to it, there's nothing more important than community.
And just like our outstanding city officials, police, and fire departments, you can count on State Bank and Trust to help make Winfield and Marion County a great place to live for everyone who calls this area home.